from the very far extremist, far right wing. And this is a moment in which Venezuela is saying no to these intentions, is saying no to the attempts to destabilize the economic sector, to destabilize the social life of Venezuelans who are also very joyful people, who are amicable people. And in spite of the economic warfare that the country is going through, numbers speak volumes, because Venezuela has managed to grow economically for the past years in spite of the sanctions that are being imposed to the country, because Venezuela is not alone, and also Venezuela has a resilience that is shown, that it is translated into social and community projects that are being used in a large scale, for example, for the self-sufficiency of agriculture, for the development of agriculture in the country to become a sustainable country that can provide their own products to provide to the people. And this is only possible because there are also very much initiatives in the communes that are being multiplied along the country. And this is a moment precisely for this purpose, to defend what Venezuela has achieved in spite of all the obstacles that is being faced for many years, in spite of the violence that has been promoted by the far-right wing, led by several people with different names but same idea of taking advantage of the resources of Venezuela, of taking advantage of the resources that are destined, that should be destined for the people and for the economic growth of the country, because it has the capacity to do so. It has so many sanctions imposed that is a little bit harder than for other people, for other countries in the world to achieve an economic stability. But in spite of all this, Venezuela has been able to do so, has been able to reach a moment in which there are numbers that prove that Venezuela is reaching its own development in its own very own ways, and also is being respected worldwide. And we could see that during the tour that President Nicolás Maduro offered to Russia, and how he was received as the president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, and he received all the honors and also all the gratitude of the Russian people and all those who attended to this event that in this occasion marked the 80th anniversary of the great victory against fascism and Nazism by the Soviet Union in 1945. So we could see this. This means that Venezuela is not alone, and this visit to Russia is a proof of it. President Nicolás Maduro held bilateral meetings with several leaders worldwide, and he's always being received with such a gratitude and respect. And there was a common idea in all these bilateral meetings and in this moment, and it was that Venezuela is very respected because it is a dignified nation that is facing the most atrocious economic war ever experienced, perhaps only compared to the struggle that Cuba is having because of the economic sanctions also imposed by the U.S. and the hostilities imposed to that island nation. But Venezuela is suffering deeply these economic sanctions, but also is proving its resilience, its ways to move on and to sort off all these obstacles that have been imposed, and also how every electoral process in the country and every crucial political moment in the country has been widely seen by the whole world, that is paying such an attention that is not received in other nations, in other electoral process, in other countries around the world. It is Venezuela because Venezuela represents this, represents a change, represents a society that is building from the inside to the outside, that is building based on the respect, also based on the initiatives that the communes are promoting alongside the people. The communes are basically the base of the communities, the base of the country, and this could be dangerous for many of those leaders of the far right that are trying to impose an economic order in the world that is the opposite of this. So, as we mentioned, this is a crucial moment for Venezuelans. This is a crucial moment that is proving that Venezuelans are willing to keep fighting for their sovereignty, to keep fighting for their migrants abroad and for their safe return of all of those who are suffering the consequences of a xenophobic campaign promoted by the leader of the United States. Venezuelans are united today because of this, because of what the government has been representing for them for the past years. A government that has been representing resilience in spite of the obstacles, has been showing that everyone matters, that the most vulnerable are listened, that those, for example, those families that are suffering the consequences of this economic blockade and hardship imposed on the country and have had to take the hard decision to migrate, and now are facing the consequences of this xenophobic campaign, and that is violating the migrants' rights, and also the people is precisely seeing how the government has been providing all its support for their safe and dignified return to the country. Also, the people is seeing how the government has been focusing its efforts in counterattacking these attempts against the civil life in the country, against these attempts that seek to undermine the country's stability and the peace in the country. And it's precisely the case that happened a few days ago, in which the Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace, Diosdado Cabello, referred to the foiled attempt of destabilizing the country with actions that could affect, for example, health centers, the energy sector, which is so crucial in these upcoming massive and mega elections. And this is all that is at stake today for Venezuelans, their peace, most of all, the peace that they deserve to have, because they have been through many other attempts in which the far right has tried to create a country in fear, for people to feel the horror of hatred. This is no longer what the people want, and this is a way to prove it. Going to the polls next May 25th are going to be crucial for Venezuelans for this matter. Also, Venezuelans are going to be electing for the very first time a governor in the Guyana Essequiba, in spite of the attempts of the Guyanese government of Irfan Ali to halt the elections there, to impose certain measures to avoid the people to going to the polls. Nothing is going to halt this democratic process for Venezuelans. Nothing is going to divert the path that Venezuela has been building for many years in an attempt to be a fairer country for the people in need, to be there present for the people in vulnerable conditions. There are many reforms that have been taking place for the past few years that greatly support, for example, the rights of women, girls, also to support the elderly people, to support the children in general, to support many vulnerable people in vulnerable conditions. So this is a moment for Venezuelans in which they are going to be electing how Venezuela is going to walk the path of the upcoming years. We can see at this moment President Nicolás Maduro is among the crowd, walking along. Cilia Flores, the first combatant of the Republic. This is going to be an important moment for Venezuelans. We can see chantings, we can see music, we can listen to music amid the crowd, and also we can see colors. This is a massive march that is taking place in the midst of the closure of the campaigns held in Venezuela of the Great Patriotic Poll, of the candidates of the Great Patriotic Poll who are closing their campaigns at this moment ahead of the elections of May 25th. Next Sunday, mark this date because it is going to be crucial for Venezuelans in this moment. Venezuela is gearing up for this important, significant electoral event on Sunday. 36 political organizations are going to be taking part in these regional and parliamentary elections, and also a total of over 21 million citizens are expected precisely to cast their ballots, to cast their votes, and to shape the country's political future at both local and also national levels in a defining also political moment. Both Chavism and opposition forces have meticulously chosen their candidates and their electoral strategies and aiming precisely to redefine political correlations across strategies and across Venezuelan's regions, while Chavism views this election as an opportunity to strengthen their political leadership and governance at various levels. Opposition groups are also focusing on their political survival, their reorganization, seeking to secure positions and restore their support in the bases that have been undermined precisely by the several attempts against the electoral and the democracy process in Venezuela. This election is also particularly crucial. Its outcome will influence the structure and dynamics of Venezuela's National Assembly, which is the most relevant space for parliamentary representation. Given the weight and also the importance of the positions at stake, the May 25th vote is regarded as a mega election, one that will have lasting implications on governance and political alliances as well. For the very first time, and in alignment with the popular mandate, Venezuela will proceed with elections for governors, deputies, and also legislative councils in the 159,542 kilometers encircling the Essequibo territory. The historical significance of this region was underscored recently by ALBA TCP Secretary General Jorge Arreaza, who offered in a recent statement to the press the significance of that, for example, figures such as Simón Bolívar and Antonio José de Sucre offered to this territory and how much they fought for this land. That is why Venezuela is reivindicating this struggle now, in a moment in which Venezuelans are more than ever thinking and pushing up for the respect of their independence, their sovereignty, and the legal rights for their territory. Regarding in this case precisely, the ALBA TCP Executive Secretary General said that Venezuela is listening to its people, who approved in a popular referendum the Essequibo as an inalienable right and inalienable territory of Venezuela. Today, Venezuela is precisely fulfilling that mandate. Regarding the ongoing territorial dispute, let's mention that the Executive Secretary reiterated the framework established by the 1966 Geneva Agreement. Let's recall this accord establishes that Venezuela and the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, which was formerly under British rule, engaged in dialogue to seek a mutually satisfactory resolution of this territory that was not delimited. And also there are efforts to impose external control over this territory, as we mentioned, arguing that historical Venezuelan land cannot be denied under the guise of resource appropriation. Also, these challenges to imperialist influence are what's at stake at this moment, in which the country is searching for ways to stop this foreign interference that only seeks to appropriate of Venezuelan resources. Also, let's recall that there is a strategic objective that is driving to the dispute of this territory, which is the case of ExxonMobil Corporation, that is a U.S. oil and gas company, which is the country's largest in its sector, that operates in this disputed territory with the complicity of Guyana's government. Imperialism in the region is a network of energy and also pharmaceutical corporations, among others. They have their objectives. In the case of the Essequibo, ExxonMobil has a thirst for this territory and they want to generate a conflict. And in this context, Venezuela is today on the streets and is going to the polls on Sunday to prevent these attempts to be fulfilled and also to defend the Venezuelan territory. The road to the defense of democracy in Venezuela remains a complex for a country that has been hard hit by attempts of foreign interference. Guyanese authorities, for example, are trying to prevent Venezuelan participation in these elections, despite Venezuela's firm position that Guyana Essequibo is historically claimed as the 24th state of Venezuela, while being the de facto administered by Guyana. Guyana's Interior Minister Robin Ben issued a stark warning on Wednesday this week, declaring that any Guyanese citizen or resident who support the vote would be arrested. This is simply a threat that is not going to take. We are listening at this moment to President Nicolás Maduro. He mentioned that Venezuela is compromised to keep building this strength from the bottom to make sure that the revolution, the Bolivarian revolution, is every day more stronger, growing stronger and capable to support, to halt and to face all the sanctions, persecutions of imperialism. Venezuela comes from a great victory against imperialism. Those who believe they are the owners of the world. Venezuela is denouncing also how the U.S. has been kidnapping over 1,000 children in the U.S. in part of this process of massive deportation campaign, under the excuse that all Venezuelans are members of the extinct Tren de Aragua, all of them, like if all of them were drug addicts. This is what Venezuela is facing today. These lies, this campaign of hatred and lies that fall sadly to the most vulnerable Venezuelans, who are those who are living in the U.S., undocumented, and who are facing hardships today because of this xenophobic campaign that is being carried out against Venezuelans in the United States. We can see President Nicolás Maduro and the first combatant of the Republic, Cilia Flores, who are walking towards the Miraflores Palace and alongside the people of the country. He stops then and then to offer statements, to salute the people, to take pictures with the people who ask for selfies. he's a very charismatic leader, and is one of the major strengths of President Nicolas Maduro. That is why people is along his government and supporting him today, for many reasons, but also especially because he is a very charismatic leader who, in many occasions, show all the sacrifices he has had to do in order to defend the country from the most brutal campaign of hatred and misinformation that falls over and falls upon Venezuela for the simple fact of trying to build its own society on their own ways, which is prioritizing the development of the people and the dignity of the people, in spite of all the massive misinformation that is falling upon the country. And also, we are listening at this moment to the Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace, Diosdado Cabello, who is at this platform said to welcome this massive demonstration in Caracas and to celebrate this closure of the campaigns of the Great Patriotic Poll ahead of the mega elections of May 25th. Diosdado Cabello is saluting all the candidates of the Great Patriotic Poll that are going to be part of these elections, to be part of the parliament, but also to be part of the leadership of the local Venezuela, of the governorates of Venezuela. And this is a moment of unity, of joy. People is at peace, people is joyful at this moment, in this crucial moment for Venezuelans. And as we were mentioning, there are many circumstances that the country is facing ahead of these elections. The road for the defense of the democracy in Venezuela hasn't been easy. It is complex for many reasons, because of the foreign attempts against the democracy in the country, because of these local elections are arriving in a moment that has a prevailing economic uncertainty exacerbated by the intensified U.S. sanctions that amount over 1,000, the unilateral coercive measures, the cancellation also of oil licenses, and also new tariffs imposed on Venezuela. These factors have added complexity to this electoral process that is influencing both the political strategies of the country and also the public sentiment. Also, the Venezuelan government recently exposed new plans by the extreme right-wing opposition forces to sabotage the May 25th elections. Officials have revealed a plan that involved attacks on embassies, health centers, electrical facilities, alongside also targeted actions against government leaders. Security forces responded swiftly. They reported the capture of 38 individuals that were involved in this plot, including 17 foreign nationals, and seizing also explosive material. This was very, very important maneuver that was performed by the security services of the country to prevent this from happening. There is so much hatred in the attempts that are lying behind the intentions, the fake intentions of the far right to save and preserve the life of Venezuelans. This shows the opposite. The Venezuelan far right is dangerous for the people, and the people knows this, because it wants to create harm in order to change a political path that has been built by the people themselves. So the outcome of these May 25th elections will be a defining moment for Venezuela that is shaping governance structures and legislative dynamics, while setting also the country's political and economic course for years to come. As opposition forces strive to consolidate their influence, this electoral process carries an even greater significance, not only in determining the nation's trajectory, but also in safeguarding democracy amid ongoing challenges that I just mentioned, and also all the threats that lie upon the people of Venezuela. The importance of an independent Venezuela is not just significant for the country, but also for all Latin America, and most of all for the neighboring countries of Venezuela, in order to keep Latin America as a region of peace, as a region at peace. We at this moment are listening to statements of candidates and also leaders of the government at this moment, the platform that was set to welcome the thousands of demonstrators who took to the streets of Caracas in support of the great patriotic Paul. We are listening to Diosdado Cabello at this moment. He's saying that he's been asking for wisdom. Let's listen. I said to him, Ernesto, you haven't asked this recommendation from me, but I'm going to give it to you. You know where they are, those who are not gossip men and women. You know who are those who are working on the streets on a daily basis, who are on the streets working day by day. Ernesto Luna has given an example of financing of the project from the communal circuits, and he will keep doing so. He's been forming a team that all are engaged with the victory of the great homeland. This is the moment in which Minister of Interior Justice Diosdado Cabello is offering statements. He says that Ernesto has a compromise because the president promised to the communal circuit that obtain a greater vote numbers will be financing all their projects. So we need to keep in tune with the president in order to support those communal circuits that have greater numbers in votes. From the Socialist Party of Venezuela, the Great Patriotic Pole, and social movement, and the youth of the people of the country, the working class, the farmers, teachers, the women. Also the men of the country. You can see the difference. Where are the men and where are the women? Let's repeat again. Prepare yourself. Take some breath in. Hold on for 5 minutes. Do not breathe. Where are the women? Where are you? Ernesto said that we are even. That's not true. Women always win. This is pure lies. Women are always right. Women, you need to reorganize the Great Patriotic Pole and all the social movements. You are you are the ones who are going to strengthen our bases, the communal circuits, the third force, the powerful force of the club. You know that bosses of the club go door by door to give those food bags to the people and all the people. And during the fourth power, there are the great missions of Venezuela. In the fifth power, there is the sovereignty of the country, the defense of the democracy. Those who do not know, in the sixth force are all the entrepreneurs and the force that are joined the Venezuelan forces. We are sure we are seeing now new faces that weren't here 4 years ago, but now are here with the strength of the Bolivarian revolution, because the state is going to be built, growing stronger with the strength of you. The revolution do not leave anyone behind. With this young man from Monagense, young man, if it were for me, if I were from Sucre, I would vote for Carrillo, but I'm from Monaga. I'm from here, from the land of Juana Ramirez. I'm from here, from the Leonardo Infante's land. I'm going to vote on May 25th. I'm going to vote for Ernesto Luna with the people. And we will keep adding achievements. You could go through the streets, through the mountains, to the river, to listen to the people. You should go there because the true wisdom of Venezuela is there. May all go to the streets, all to the victory with Ernesto. Who is going to win in Monagas? Who is going to win in Monagas? Long live to Chavez, long live to Bolivar, long live to the homeland, long live to Maduro, long live to Ernesto, long live to Monagas. A huge hug for all of you. We were listening to the Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace and Secretary General of the Socialist Party of Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello, who is at this moment offering statements in the closure of the campaigns of the Great Patriotic Poll candidates in a crucial moment for Venezuelans that are going to go to the polls on May 25th to elect the governors of the 24 governorates of Venezuela, and also to elect the new members of the Parliament of Venezuela that are going to be ruling and defining the path that Venezuela is going to keep following for the upcoming years. We keep showing you live images at this moment from Venezuela in this great closure of the Great Patriotic Poll ahead of the massive elections of May 25th in the country. Also a moment in which over 21,000 Venezuelans are going to go to the polls next Sunday to elect the governors for 24 states, including precisely Guyana for the very first time in Venezuela's history, as well as the parliament seats for each legislative council. 285 lawmakers will also be elected to make up into the National Assembly until January of 2031. These are the numbers. This is what Venezuela is celebrating today, because it is a great joy for Venezuelans to keep defending the democratic path that Venezuela has been drawing and strengthening for the past years, in spite of all the threats, of all the attempts to undermine the country's sovereignty in this crucial moment for Venezuelans. Also, Venezuela is, as we were mentioning, is gearing up for a significant electoral event on Sunday, May 25th, as 36 political organizations are going to be taking part in regional and parliamentary elections. A total of over 21 million citizens are expected to cast their votes, shaping the country's political future at both local and national levels in a defining political moment. Both the Chavismo and also the other forces of the political spectrum in Venezuela are going to bring their candidates for the people to choose. But this is a moment in which the country is thinking that it should be united in the face of all the threats, in the face of all the hardships of the country. This has been a political campaign that has happened in peace, peacefully, without setbacks. This shows that the people and the basis of the society are willing to keep defending the government that they have, because it is the only way Venezuela to achieve that Venezuela stays in peace, at peace, and in a position for the world of respect and of dignity. This campaign has represented a vibrant moment for the Great Patriotic Pole and the popular movement in Venezuela. We have seen so in these images that we are bringing to you with the President Nicolás Maduro, who has been along the people inside this massive demonstration. Also, this has been a transcendental moment in Venezuela's history, that next May 25th is going to be a gigantic election for the people, in a great defeat for the far-right wing that will never be again in a leading position for as long as the far-right keeps intending to harm the people of Venezuela, to keep to keep damaging the economy in the country, that traduces into economic hardships for the common Venezuelan, and also is creating hardships for Venezuelans on a daily basis. And Venezuelans do not want those who are the ones who are calling for sanctions, the ones who are calling for Venezuelan migrants to be deported and incarcerated in a concentration camp in El Salvador. They do not want them to have any political power in the country because of the harm that they are going to provide for the country in this moment. So this is crucial for Venezuela amid a beautiful political campaign, as President Nicolás Maduro highlighted recently. This closing must be amid a renovated feeling of the people, and that is how it has been for the past few weeks amid these electoral campaigns of the candidates of the Great Patriotic Pole that are aspiring to positions in the local governments of the 24 states in the country, and also who are aspiring to have a position in the National Assembly, which is crucial for Venezuelans. We are seeing the president at this moment, along with Cilia Flores. At this moment, the constitutional president, Nicolás Maduro, is the man that is portraying peace, that is now saluting the people, supporters of the Great Patriotic Pole. Once again, the revolution, the strength of Commander Hugo Chavez and his legacy. We are seeing this moment. President Nicolás Maduro and Cilia Flores, the first combatant, are reaching this moment, the platform, along with other leaders of the Great Patriotic Pole. Let's listen to this musical moment.
Podemos ayudar al mundo, cambiar la historia en un segundo. Si ayuda se hará crecer. Su corazón es bueno, su corazón es bueno.
Sí, eres un líder de la vida. Cambiar el mundo es alegría. Y está de hacer el bien.
Su corazón es bueno, su corazón es bueno.
Yo no soy Dios para decirte qué hacer.
Bien duro, bien duro.
Yo lo que sé es que juntos vamos a vencer. Hoy vamos a salvar el mundo. Vive tu vida, dale
diciendo si viviremos y venceremos. Clave el corazón del pueblo.
Caracas, Caracas, campaña molecular, campaña comunal, hemos recorrido el país entero.
Go through the whole country. We are at this moment listening to a cultural movement amid this closing campaign of the Great Patriotic Poll in Venezuela that has the presence of President Nicolás Maduro at this hour in Venezuela. Let's listen some more.
Por América Latina, ahora camina, ahora camina. Suena Diana, los soldados a la batalla, los enemigos de la patria que se vayan. Sabes, soy yo, sabes tú, aquí estamos los guerreros del Jesús. Sabes, soy yo, sabes tú, aquí estamos los guerreros del Jesús. ¡A la batalla! Sube la mano y no la dejes caer, pueblo valiente que no se deja ver. Sube la mano y no la dejes caer, pueblo valiente que no se deja. Hay pueblo aquí, hay pueblo allá, somos millones y Maduro vencerá. Hay pueblo aquí, hay pueblo allá, somos millones y Maduro vencerá.
¡Viva!
We were listening to a musical moment in this closing campaign of the electoral campaign of the Great Patriotic Poll. We are seeing President Nicolás Maduro there in this massive march that is celebrating. He's being congratulated and he's being welcomed in this moment. This electoral campaign was very close, people to people, streets to streets, municipality to municipality. It is ending today, and the candidate to the National Assembly for the city of Caracas is present at this moment, who have made this tour throughout the country. At this moment, President Nicolás Maduro is going to offer a statement in a few moments to salute all the people. He marched along side by side to the people amid this closing campaign of the the Great Patriotic Poll. It is a campaign that is being closing. At a moment in which the country is witnessing this support. And also, this is Caracas. This is the 22 parishes of Caracas. This is a success of the revolution. Today, May 2025, Caracas mobilized to support the victory of President Nicolás Maduro and to mark a new era of transformations. This is Caracas. This is the Caracas that received Commander Chavez as well, the Caracas in resistance. The president is due to address the capital, and in a moment in which the Great Patriotic Pole have been a force towards the defense of the right of the people. During this campaign, the Great Patriotic Pole has been facing and speaking to the people as a powerful way, and also in a way to promote a powerful strength for the people. On May 25th, all of this is going to be shaped on the people's will, which will mark the second era of transformations for the Venezuelan people and exchanges that initiated on January 10th with the inauguration of President Nicolás Maduro. The National Assembly is going to be built, the one that is going to be supporting President Nicolás Maduro throughout the upcoming years of presidency. And the Great Patriotic Pole has been performing this political campaign towards these elections that in the same Caracas that suffered a huge storm a few years ago, that stayed working and resisting all the threats that is today arising thanks to the organization that the Great Patriotic Pole has achieved, and with a National Assembly that is following the steps of President Nicolás Maduro to keep the people united. On May 25th, May 25th will mark a path for Venezuelans. There are two. One of them leads to hatred and lies and death and failure, and there is another path that leads the people to the truth, to life, the way, the path of the Bolivarian revolution, because the people was liberated thanks to several projects, social projects promoted on the Bolivarian revolution, because the youth needed a great mission, and Nicolás Maduro gave the great mission for the youth of Venezuelans, because there is the great mission of households. There are several transformation projects that really has transformed the people into a people of good and into a dignified people. President Nicolás Maduro is being thanked for all the transformations that the country has gone through in order to be today the Venezuela that it is today, that is a Venezuela at peace, and how Venezuela is fighting for their migrants abroad, and how it's fighting for the return of all the children who have been kidnapped in the U.S., forcibly separated from their parents. And all of them are going to be back to Venezuela to keep building the future of the country. Chavez taught Venezuela how to see the future, and Venezuela is today seeing at a moment in which is set to keep building the future that started with Commander Hugo Chavez. This is a moment, crucial moment for Venezuelan society, a moment in which the people is alongside with the government of the constitutional government of President Nicolás Maduro, in a moment in which Venezuela is not alone, has the support of many leaders worldwide, China, Russia, Cuba, the Caribbean, also Latin America. It is a moment of great strength for Venezuelans. On May 25th, the people of Caracas and the people of Venezuela will go to polls to elect governors, to elect legislators to the National Assembly, to keep building the Families Code, the Popular Powers Code, and to transform all that needs to be transformed, to keep walking in this path of revolution that is the only way and the only path that the country is going to be following. Thank you, President, for all you have done for millions of women and men who believe today in the revolution, that are dignified people who have resisted. And the sun is rising at this moment, and this is a moment to defend the Bolivarian nation. I want to present you the man of this revolution, the man who has built and who has driven the opposition crazy, President Nicolás Maduro. Now we are going to listen to the words and statements of President Nicolás Maduro. The letters are given. With this massive people, we decree the victory of the people next May 25th in the parliamentary elections of the National Assembly and the election of governors of the 24 states of the country. President Nicolás Maduro, you gave us an order, an orientation, because if there's something that has characterized this campaign, has been the ears, to put the ears in the voice of the people and listen to the people. And that is why we said more hugs and less platforms. And that is why we went house by house and we united in a single hug to listen to the people. And we are searching that our hearts joining in one single heart that would see and give the life of the people in prosperity. And that is why in this house by house, people by people, that is how we gave birth to an enthusiasm that has moved massive people that today say the homeland has won, Maduro has won, Chavez, those of Chavez have won. They won. So we could all win. That is why we win. For peace. We won for us to build the future we deserve. After so much pain and sanctions of the US, we made them to sit with us and accept that Venezuela is to be respected, that Venezuela is free and sovereign. They may respect, and for us to be respected, we need to make ourselves respected, brothers and sisters, people of Caracas. Today, when the victory is chanted in the stars, even though when it is widely known that the victory is written in the stars and in the signs of the earth, and in your voices are victories, we ask you, may not fall into triumphalisms. Are 27 out, and we need to conquer the most beautiful victory we have ever seen, this city has ever seen, in these parliamentary elections, with no remorse. May this, the machinery to move the millions of hearts that have expressed to us in this electoral campaign. I came here today mainly to present yourself a Caracas man, to present you a noble man, a brave man, a decent man, a man who has led this ship in these turbulent waters, and now they are giving us a way to the calm waters of prosperity. I came here to present yourself, your president from Caracas, your Caracas president, Nicolás Maduro Moros, president, constitutional president of the Republic, of this Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Do you remember this? Do you remember?
El gallo de Venezuela, yo voy a mi gallo Nico, pues mi gallo tiene vuela. Alale lo lele laila, alale lo lele laila, yo voy a mi gallo Nico, porque somos alegría. Yo voy a mi gallo Nico, de la paz la garantía. Alale lo lele laila, alale lo lele laila, yo voy a mi gallo Nico. ¡Canta! Somos un pueblo valiente, yo voy a mi gallo Nico para hacerlo presidente. Alale lo lele laila, alale lo lele laila, yo voy a mi gallo Nico. ¡Hey! Ya se lo ganó mi gallo, yo voy a mi gallo Nico, pues mi gallo siempre gana. Alale lo lele laila, alale lo lele laila, yo voy a mi gallo Nico. ¡Sube la mano! ¡Sube la mano! ¡Suéltale, suéltale, Yorgi!
Nico se parece a ti, también se parece a mí. Es un hombre de fe, con espíritu feliz. Se no tiene el apellido, se sacrifica por ti. Es garantía de paz, por eso te digo así.
Ese es mi gallo a toda prueba, dignidad y valentía para defender a Venezuela. Ese es mi gallo a toda prueba, dignidad y valentía para defender a Venezuela. Ya ganó mi gallo Nico, ¿cómo dice el coro? Ya ganó mi gallo Nico, Nico. Ya ganó mi gallo Nico. Ya ganó mi gallo Nico. Todo el mundo la mano para arriba. Hey, 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 hey. Eso es. Ay, yo el cobarde otra vez y eso les pica, 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 les pica, pica, dale por ahí, ay, ay. Maruco, tú no vas. Venezuela tiene un gallo y ese gallo es que hola. Mi gallo a toda prueba, dignidad y valentía para defender a Venezuela. Ese es mi gallo a toda prueba, dignidad y valentía para defender a Venezuela. Ya se lo ganó mi gallo, yo voy a mi gallo Nico, pues mi gallo siempre gana. Alale lo lele laila, alale lo lele laila, yo voy a mi gallo Nico. Hey, todo el mundo con la mano, con la B de la victoria, sube la mano con la B, con la B, la mano arriba. Una bulla, Caracas.
¡Una bulla!
Yo voy a mi gallo Nico.
We were listening to Mi Gallo Pinto, a song that symbolizes the strength of President Nicolás Maduro that accompanied his campaign for the elections, the presidential elections of July 2024. We are witnessing the closing campaign of the Great Patriotic Poll in a defining moment for Venezuelans, which is set to go to the polls on May 25th, ahead of the regional and local elections. We are listening to President Nicolás Maduro. Long live to Caracas of Bolívar and Miranda. Long live to Caracas, the rebel Caracas of always. It is very emotional for me to come back to the streets of Caracas, walking over 5 kilometers to hug the people, the humble people, and see in the faces, and your faces, the face of victory of next Sunday, May 25th. From the streets we come, from the neighborhoods, the streets of Caracas, where we were born and grew up, where we saw fall down so many people being shot dead. These are the streets of hope, the streets that one received that March 26, 1994, Commander Hugo Chavez. The streets of always. Let them see the imperialists. May they see the extreme right wing. May they see that this is a revolution, an empowered revolution. The people united may never be defeated, people chanting.
Magnífico.
This is magnificent.
El recorrido.
The long walk we have had has been magnificent, from the Liberator Avenue, the Andrés Bello Avenue, the Urdaneta Avenue, and the street light says so. All of them are in green light. We have green light for the victory of next Sunday in Caracas. And in the whole Venezuela, we have green light. You are right, Nicolás Ernesto. I told him Nico, like you said, like you told me, because I'm your son, and he's my son. You say Nicolásito to him, and in some neighborhood you say you call him Madurito. He's right. Learned how to walk. I took him with me to the marshes. From a very early age, Chavez raised him, and we were people to people from once to time, so he can forge himself, seeing to the people, looking at the people, so he can grow love in the people, so he knows, for him to know from where and from who he came from, and who are we. Because we are not oligarchs. We are not magnate. We came from roots of people, of working people, educated people. And we need to educate our children for that we want the homeland, our homeland to be. We need to educate our people in values, in patriotic values, in the love to the people, and with the very much alive dreams that Venezuela, sooner rather than later, needs to achieve its great destiny of being a powerful and developed nation. That is why I feel so much joy to see the neighbors of always, from the Valle, from 23 de enero, from Caricuao, from the Sucre parish, from La Pastora San Jose parishes, Los Rosales, Santa Rosalía,
El Junquito.
Junquito,
San Agustín del Norte y
San Agustín del Norte y San Agustín del Sur parishes, Antímano, Mamera parishes,
La Vega, Paraíso, El Recreo, los vecinos del
El
Recreo, San
Recreo, the
Pedro,
neighbors of El Recreo, San
vecinos de
Pedro,
San
my
Pedro.
neighbors from San Pedro,
los vecinos de
my
San
neighbors
Juan,
from San
El
Juan,
Guarataro,
from El
Barrio
Guarataro,
Unión,
Barrio Unión,
Santa Teresa, Altagracia,
Santa Teresa, Altagracia,
Catedral,
Catedral,
Caracas toda.
Caracas
Y
as a whole.
decirle
Let me say
siempre
to you from
que
always,
Caracas,
Caracas,
unida,
united,
jamás será
will never be
vencida.
defeated.
Caracas la grande.
Caracas is the greater one.
El próximo domingo
Next
elegimos
Sunday
24
we'll
gobernadores.
choose 24 governors.
Hoy
Today
vimos la inmensa
we
marcha
see
de
the
Caracas.
immense march in Caracas,
Y cuando veníamos
and when
caminando
we
por
were
allá del
walking
Libertador,
from El Libertador
con Silita, mi esposo,
with
saludó
my
a
wife
Cilia.
Celia,
Silita,
Celita
la
Flores,
bonita.
the pretty one.
Cuando veníamos
When we were
pasando
passing by
por el centro comercial, ¿cómo que
through
se llama?
the shopping mall
El Sambil ahí en el
Sambil.
elevado.
in the elevados,
Yo venía viendo algunas
I
pantallas,
could see
la inmensa
TVs,
concentración en
screenings, the
Cumaná,
immense concentration in
Maturín,
Cumaná, in Madrid,
Cupita,
in Tucupita,
en Valencia.
in Valencia, throughout the
Y
country.
decía,
And I say to
ha
myself,
valido la pena.
it has worth
La
it.
dedicación,
The dedication,
el sacrificio,
the sacrifice,
el esfuerzo,
the
la
effort,
lucha.
the struggle.
Hoy podemos
Today
decir
we
desde
can say
Caracas
from Caracas
y desde
and
Venezuela,
from Venezuela,
el movimiento
the movement,
bolivariano
the Bolivarian
revolucionario
movement
200 está en la calle.
is on the
El
streets.
chavismo
The
es
Chavism
minoría
is
y
majority
las
and is
elecciones
going to
del
win the
próximo
elections of
domingo.
next Sunday.
Somos
We are
mayoría.
majority.
Somos
We
alegría.
are joy.
Somos el
We are
pueblo
people
Chávez.
of Hugo Chavez.
Vamos a bajar un poco las
May
banderas.
the rise down a little bit the flags
podernos ver
so we
bien.
can see each other.
Te estoy viendo.
I'm seeing you.
Ahora te veo mejor.
Now I see you much better.
Saludo a la clase obrera por aquí, chicos.
A greeting is to the working class here.
Hemos hecho una
We have
campaña
made a
bonita,
campaign, a
ejemplar.
beautiful campaign, exemplary campaign.
La juventud socialista de
Youth, the
Venezuela
social youth of Venezuela.
yo quiero
Want to
en justicia
injustice for
y apegado a la verdad
and stick to the truth.
felicitar
I want
de
to
verdad
congratulate for
desde el
sure
corazón.
from my heart
En primer lugar,
in the first place,
al pueblo
to the
empoderado y
people, the
organizado,
empowered people and organized people,
por la campaña electoral
for
ejemplar y
the
hermosa que han
exemplary
hecho,
campaign you
barrio
have
a barrio,
made,
casa a
neighborhood to
casa.
neighborhood, home to home,
Y felicitar
and congratulate
a todos los
all of
candidatos
the
y
candidates
candidatas
and
a gobernaciones,
to the
a
governor
diputados
and
y
deputies,
diputados, porque de verdad
because
han hecho una
you have
campaña
made a campaign,
motivante, casa
an
a
emotional
casa con el
campaign,
pueblo.
house by house with the people.
Ahora
Now
tenemos que afinar
we need to shape
la puntería.
our targets.
Ustedes saben cómo se vota.
You know how the voting process is.
Ayer
Yesterday,
en La Guaira pregunté y me
in the wider
contestaron.
state, I asked and
¿Cómo
people
se vota? Y me
answered me,
dijeron,
how
"Pam,
do you
pam".
vote? And they said,
¿Cómo se vota en Caracas?
how do you vote, Caracas?
¿Cómo es eso de ra ra?
How is that?
Me dicen que hay una canción que enseña a votar.
There is a song that teaches you how to vote.
Bueno, familia, nosotros lo que queremos saber es cómo vamos a votar.
Sencillo, cómo vas a ejecutar, pero la cédula debes llevar. A la mesa te tienes que llegar y en la pantalla vas a presionar.
Arriba y a la izquierda, ra, ra, con el sol hecho de ver, ra, ra, con el pueblo patriótico, ra, ra, Venezuela vota ya, ra, ra, arriba y a la izquierda, ra, ra, con el pueblo patriótico, ra, ra, de los ojos de saber, ra, ra, Venezuela vota ya, ra, ra.
Votaste, verificaste, comprobante en la caja depositaste.
Aseguraste, afirmaste, por el gran pueblo patriótico tú votaste. Arriba y a la izquierda, ra, ra, de los ojos de saber, ra, ra, por el pueblo patriótico, ra, ra, Venezuela vota ya, ra, ra, arriba y a la izquierda, ra, ra, por el pueblo patriótico, ra, ra, de los ojos de saber, ra, ra, Venezuela vota ya, ra, ra. Eva, ¿y ya entendiste cómo va a votar?
Claro que sí. Dale, ra, ra.
Ya tú sabes,
Una
te
pregunta.
lo dijo, Doctor M.
Una pregunta.
Let me ask you one
¿Así
question.
o más claro?
That or more clearly,
¿Aprendieron?
did you learn how to do this?
El domingo
On Sunday,
tiene que funcionar
this has to work.
una inmensa
A
movilización
massive
por
mobilization,
familia.
family by family,
A votar en familia.
to vote in family.
Familia que vota unida.
A family that votes united,
Familia que vota unida.
family that votes united,
Permanece
prevails
victoriosa y
in
unida
victory
además.
and united.
El 5x5.
5 by 5,
Saludo a Carmen Teresa Meléndez Rivas,
greetings to Carmen Teresa,
alcaldesa.
Major,
Anaún Fernández,
Anaún Fernández,
ellos inventaron
they invented the
el
pointing
a votar
to
el
vote,
5x5.
the 5 by 5.
Almiranta, usted que es jefa de la Caracas.
Major, you who are the
5
boss
por
of Caracas, 5
5
by
por 5.
5, 25.
Maquinarias.
5 machineries.
primera,
The first one,
La VC, los
the
equipos de
UFS,
comunidad y de calle
the
del Partido
community
Socialista
teams
Unido de
of the
Venezuela.
Socialist Party of Venezuela.
La segunda maquinaria,
The second one,
la fuerza social
the
de los
strength, the social strengthening of the clubs,
club,
of
Clap,
the air
clap.
clubs.
La tercera maquinaria,
The third
la de
machinery,
los circuitos
the one of the
comunales,
communal
comuneros.
circuits.
La cuarta maquinaria,
The fourth machinery, that of the Great Patriotic Pole and all the social movements and popular movements of Venezuela. And the fifth machinery, that of the defenders of sovereignty, of national sovereignty. 5 machineries by 5. Victory of the 25th. In this month, all works from the 2000s, the day 5 by 5, 5 plus 2. How is our plan named? 7th transformation plan. 5 by 5, 5 plus 7, the 7 plan. All works together. The stars are aligned for us. We have the bless of God. We have the people organized and united. So on Sunday 25th there will be a great victory of freedom, democracy, peace, and the strength of the people, the Bolivarian people, the forces of Venezuela.
Y una vez que se dé el resultado
there will be
una vez que ya digan el
the results. Once the official results come out,
empieza el ratatatatata,
there will be
ratatatatata, la rumba del pueblo en la calle celebrando
the people on the streets to celebrate the victory. The param-pam-pam begins. So much work to carry out. I'm very happy because we have been shaping the direct democracy to attend the people. 3 years ago, I founded the 1+1 by 10 that helps us a lot. Then created the brigades, the community brigades of health and education brigades, and we recovered thousands of schools and emergency units. Then I created the communal circuits. We created jointly the national consultations for the people to decide with their vote on communal project. All has been a chain that has walked us through better moments. You can imagine for the upcoming 4 years, governors, 4 by 4. Math aren't doing very good here. 4 by 3. 4 by 4. If we are going to do minimum 4 consultations annually for the people to vote for projects, we are talking about 16 projects for each communal circuits for the upcoming 4 years, the minimum. If you add 2 more projects this year, we have 16 plus 2 means 18. If we multiply 18 by 5,000, 5,138, how much is that? 96 projects financed executed by the people in the communities.
No es promesa.
It is not a promise.
No es
It is
paja.
not lies.
No es promesa.
It is not a promise.
Es
This is not a
realidad.
promise. It's a reality.
Y si algo faltaba,
And if there's something missing,
como dice el dicho,
like
Nahum,
people say,
si éramos muchos
if we were many
y parió la abuela,
and the grandmother gave
Maduro
birth and Maduro
pasado,
on past Saturday
la
founded
gran
the great
corporación
corporation,
nacional para
national
obras
corporation
comunales,
for
juntos
communal
todo es posible,
projects,
y un
together
fondo
all is possible,
especial
and a
Ciudad
special
Humana
fund
para financiar
for the ship to
aún
finance
muchos
even more
más.
projects, many more to come.
Éramos bastantes.
We were a lot, and now we are
Y
much
Maduro
more.
se puso a inventar.
Maduro himself
Ahora
to add
tenemos
more ideas,
la
and now we have the
poderosa
powerful
corporación
national
Juntos
corporation,
todo es posible.
Juntos todo es posible, which is translated, we all, with all,
Y parió la
it is
abuela.
possible.
Y ayer
Yesterday, I announced
desde Barcelona
from Barcelona
y desde La Guaira
and from La Guaira
el siguiente concurso.
the following contest.
Tan, 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 tan. Anuncié
I announced
el siguiente
the
concurso
following
positivo,
contest, positive
motivacional,
contest to motivate people,
porque yo quiero arrancar ya, porque tengo
because I
el
want to kick
especial,
off already. I have the
Muchón,
funds
quiero empezar a invertir
and
ya
I
en
want
los
to
proyectos
start
comunitarios.
investing in communal
El Fondo
projects. I
Especial
want
Ciudad Humana.
the human fund.
Nació Buchón, el muchacho, el fondo.
The fund
Fondo
was
Especial
born.
Ciudad Humana.
Special
FECU.
fund, human,
P. Fondo. F.
the
Especial
F
E.
of fund.
Ciudad C. Humana HU. El FECU.
HE, the FECU fund. Special human.
No puedo repetir lo que dijo Nahum,
Citizen
pero Nahum es tremendo. No se puede repetir.
I cannot
Fondo
pronounce
Especial
that. The
nació
special fund was
fecundo.
born very
Entonces yo
fertile.
echándole coco
I
recibí
was
propuestas de
thinking,
ustedes,
and I received
de
a
las
lot
salas de
of
autogobierno popular que ya
initiative
están
from the
instaladas.
communal.
Me escribieron desde el Zulia, desde
You write to
Marina,
me
desde
from
Cogede,
Zulia, from
desde
Cojedes,
Anzoátegui, desde
from
La Guaira, desde
Anzoátegui, La
Caracas,
Guaira,
la misma
Caracas.
idea
The
de
same
ustedes.
idea. This is your idea,
Maduro,
Maduro.
¿por qué no
Why?
estableces un premio
Why don't you set a price
para los circuitos
for the
comunales
communal
más votados?
circuits more voted?
Entonces yo dije, me parece
And
muy
I
bien.
said, this is a great idea.
Y anuncié,
And
tengo
I
los
announced,
recursos,
I have the resources.
y el domingo
And on Sunday,
los 10
the
circuitos
10 circuits,
comunales más
communal
votados del
circuits
domingo.
that vote the
En
most
cada estado
in each state
ingresarán
will
al plan
have
Juntos Todo es Posible
will
para
be
financiar de
added to
inmediato
the
un proyecto
plan
comunitario
Juntos todo es
especial,
posible for a
extraordinario y
communal
poderoso
project, extraordinary
en cada uno
project
de
and
esos
powerful
circuitos
project for
comunales.
each of that communal circuits.
En Caracas hay
In Caracas,
299 circuitos
there are
comunales.
299 communal circuits.
Eso es cayendo y corriendo.
That is
Ya yo
falling
creo que
and
en la
running.
madrugada del
I
lunes
think
en la
in the
mañana,
early hours
cuando
of
esté amaneciendo,
Monday, when the sun
yo sé
is
cuáles
coming
fueron los 10
out,
circuitos más
I will
votados en
know
Caracas.
which were
Y
the
les va a
10
amanecer allá
circuits more
el
voted
equipo
in
de
Caracas,
ingenieros,
and
de
there will be
técnicos para
a team
iniciar
of
el
engineers
proyecto
and
que ustedes
technicians
elijan, nuevo,
for the
especial,
communal projects
como
to
premio
kick off
a la
and be
participación,
as a prize
a la
for your
paz,
participation
conciencia
and your
ciudadana.
social conscience
vecinal.
and peace and neighborly
¿Qué les
conscience.
parece?
What do you think?
¿Les gusta la idea?
Do you like this idea?
Hacemos el concurso.
Should we do this contest?
¿Quién se anota para ganar?
Who want to be
¿Quién se
listed
anota para
for
ganar?
this victory?
Bueno,
Well,
Jorge,
Jorge,
¿qué opinas tú de
what
esta
do you
idea?
think about this?
Ha sido un día maravilloso,
It has
presidente.
been a
La
marvelous
conclusión
day.
de todo el esfuerzo que hemos hecho en
The
este mes de
conjunction of
campaña
all
y se
our
cierra
efforts
con el gran
is being
concurso
closed with a
y
great
vamos a ver cuál
contest.
es la parroquia de
And we
Caracas que
shall
tiene
see
el
what is the
circuito
parish that
comunal
has the
con
communal
el
circuit
premio
with
del
the
proyecto
prize
el
of
más
this project,
votado.
of the most voted project.
El Valle,
El Valle,
La Vega,
La Vega,
San Pedro, Antímano, El Junquito, Caricó, Macarao,
Macarao, Caricó,
Santa Rosalía.
Santa Rosalía.
Es mucho el trabajo
There's a lot of work
que está por hacer.
that it is about to be done.
¿Y quién lo va a hacer?
And who is going to do that?
¿Quién tiene los
Who
planes?
has the plan?
¿Quién tiene la experiencia?
Who has the experience?
¿Quién tiene el poder?
Who has power?
El pueblo.
The people.
¿Quién tiene la capacidad
Who
y
has the
honestidad?
capacity and the honesty?
Por ahí,
In that way,
los estertores
the
del fascismo
fascists
han pretendido
wanted to pretend
ingresar mercenarios.
to let mercenaries enter the
Ya hoy
country.
llevamos
Today
capturados
we have
más
captured
de 50
over
mercenarios que
50
ingresaban a poner
mercenaries
bombas o a hacer
that
ataques
planned
violentos al país.
to set bombs in the country and perform
Quiero
violent
agradecer
attacks against the people of
fuerzas
Venezuela.
militares
I want to thank
y
the armed
policiales del
forces and
país
police
por el
forces of the
plan
country
República
for the
y el plan
Republica
perfecto
plan
para
and the
garantizar la paz.
perfect plan to guarantee peace in the country.
Pero todos tenemos que estar
But
ojo
all
avisado.
of us need to be aware.
Todo el mundo mosca.
Everyone needs to be
Todo el
aware.
mundo a movilizarse.
Everyone needs to be
Estoy de
mobilized.
acuerdo con lo que dice
I
Jorge
agree
Rodríguez.
with what Jorge Rodriguez says.
Cero triunfo.
We
Una cosa es estar
may
alegre.
not
Una cosa es
be
confiar en la
on
victoria.
our.
Una cosa es
One thing
verse
is to be
fuerte y
confident
mayoritario y
in the
otra
victory,
cosa es
and the
echárselas
other
al hombro
is
y
to
olvidarse
be
de que la
relaxed
victoria
that the
hay
victory
que garantizarla
needs to
hasta
be
el
warranted
último
until the
voto,
very
el
last
último
vote,
segundo
the very
del
last
domingo
second
25
of
de
next
mayo.
Sunday, May 25th.
Ustedes se imaginan
Do you imagine
la Asamblea Nacional
during the National Assembly
que la derecha
that
volviera
the
a
far
tomar
right
la mayoría de la
holds
Asamblea
back
Nacional?
the majority of the National Assembly once more? Do you imagine what could happen?
Hace 10 años
10
ganaron
years ago they won,
y yo le pregunto
and I ask
a
them,
todos los venezolanos y
all
venezolanas que nos ven,
Venezuelans that are watching us today, people shouting will not return.
ellos ganaron esa
They
vez
won the occasion.
y nosotros de manera impecable reconocimos.
All of us recognize that win, that
¿Y qué
victory.
hicieron por el
And what
país?
did they do for the country for 5 years?
Ayudaron a la gente,
Do they help
ayudaron la
people?
economía.
Did they help the economy?
Lo que hicieron fue
What they did
pedir
is ask for
sanciones,
sanctions,
invasiones,
invasion,
tratar de dar golpe de
try
Estado
to perform
tratar de
coup
matarme.
d'etats, try to kill me,
y robar,
and
robar
and
y robar
rob and
a
rob.
manos llenas. ¿Dónde está Julio
and steal.
Borges?
What is Julio Borges?
Multimillonario de
multimillionaire in
conspirando?
Spain conspirating against Venezuelans,
¿Dónde está el
whereas
asesino criminal de
the
Juan
killer,
Guaidó?
the criminal Juan Guaidó,
Dándose la dulce vida en
he's living
Miami,
his best
protegido
life
por
in
el
Miami,
imperialismo
protected by the
norteamericano.
imperialism of the US.
Por eso la Asamblea
That is why the
Nacional,
National Assembly,
que nosotros
that we
quizás a veces subestimábamos,
underestimated,
mayor importancia.
has the greatest
Otra
importance.
historia
Another
hubiera
story
sido
would have been written
si hubiéramos
if
garantizado
we
la
would have
victoria
guaranteed the
de la
victory
Asamblea Nacional
of the
del año
National
2015.
Assembly of 2015.
Otra historia.
Another story we
hubiéramos
would
contado.
have been telling
Pero ya
now.
del pasado no
But
podemos
from the
hacer
past,
nada.
we have nothing to do from
Lo
the
que sí
past.
podemos cambiar
But what we can
es el
change
presente
is the
y el
present
futuro.
and the future.
Así que en
So,
familia,
in family,
unidos y
united,
unidas, vamos a
we need
garantizar
to
una
guarantee
gigantesca
a massive
victoria en la
victory
Asamblea
of the
Nacional
National Assembly
2026
2026-2031,
Voto a
vote by vote,
hombre a hombre,
man by man, and
mujer.
by women.
Esa Asamblea
That
Nacional
National Assembly
a su mando
will have the
el
control,
5 de enero
will
2026
be leading as of
hasta el
January
2031.
5th, 2026 till 2031.
O sea, nos toca
So we need
andar juntos.
to work together.
Por eso yo les digo,
That is why I tell you,
preparemos bien la
may
fuerza.
us be prepared.
Desde el sábado,
From
ley seca.
as of Saturday, we will have no alcohol, dry law,
Acostarse temprano el
we
sábado,
need to go to bed early on Saturday night,
pero prendido.
but very much aware.
Mentira, mentira, mentira.
No, not true.
Se acuestan
You
tempranito.
may go to bed early,
A más tardar a las 10 de la noche.
as early as 10 p.m.
Si se van a tomar una frita temprano
If
a las
you
2 de la
want to
tarde.
drink a beer, you need to do so early in the afternoon by 4 p.m.
Un papelón con limón aliñado.
or a nice lemon juice.
Una chicha andina.
And then the shisha.
Y el domingo,
And on Sunday,
desde temprano,
very early on Sunday,
antes que cante el
before
gallo pinto, sale este ejército del
this
pueblo
army
a
needs to
votar,
go to the
ganar,
polling
y
stations to
garantizar la
vote,
victoria
to win and to
más
guarantee
fabulosa
victory,
que
the most
jamás
fabulous
hayamos
victory
tenido.
we have
Que viva
have
el
ever
pueblo
seen.
de
Long
Venezuela.
live to Venezuela.
Que viva la
Long
patria.
live to the
Que
homeland.
viva Caracas.
Long live to Caracas.
Hasta la victoria.
May the victory be with us forever.
Venceremos.
We will prevail.
Venceremos.
We will prevail.
Gracias, Caracas.
Thank you very much, Caracas.
Compañero. Madera. Compañero.
We were live to Caracas, Venezuela, listening to President Nicolás Maduro during the closing campaign of the candidates of the Great Patriotic Poll ahead of regional and parliamentary elections scheduled for next May 25th. During his remarks, the president called for the respect of Venezuela's democracy in this process that will keep strengthening people's power. This is all for the moment. Stay tuned with teleSUR English.